So I moved to Sydney and I started school in Sydney, started high school in Sydney, and I moved from a small country town, place called Griffith. Before moving to Griffith, my family, my mob's from a place called Bunbury over in Western Australia. So I'm a Noongar man. And my first day at high school, I was walking around, getting shown around the school by the teachers, and I ran into this young guy. He goes, "Oh, mate, you the new kid?" I said, "Yeah, I'm the new kid." Anyway, we started having a conversation and he asked me where I was from. Just lived down the road in Glebe. He goes, "No, where you from?" And I said, "Oh, from Griffith, born in Perth, lived in Western Australia, but now I'm here." He goes, "No, what's your background? What's your nasho?" Really proudly, big smile on my face. I said, "I'm Aboriginal." He turned around and said, "You can't be." It's really strange growing up being told that you're an Aboriginal kid or a Noongar kid. Didn't really use that word Aboriginal in our family. It was Noongar, Wajak, Warrandi, Pinjab, Noongar. And to all of a sudden come up to a big city and then to be told that you're not something that you've been told you are your whole life, it confuses the crap out of a young person. The picture of an Aboriginal person in his mind didn't match up what was standing in front of him. And that really confused me because I wanted people to know that I was an Aboriginal person. I thought it was pretty clever. I come up with this idea. I thought if people can't tell that I'm Aboriginal by looking at me, maybe I'm going to act Aboriginal, whatever that meant. I'd start acting like Aboriginal people that I saw on the media or what I saw on the news. I stopped going to school. I started drinking alcohol well before 18, and because I thought being an Aboriginal person, that's what you had to do. Yeah, I was just thinking about it now as an adult. Like it made me so confused. Within about 6 months to a year of me starting school, wherever I went, because of the way I spoke, the way I dressed, and my actions, there was no doubt in people's minds that I was an Aboriginal kid. There's a couple of things in my life where they're hard to talk about. The big thing to that for me was just alcohol, drinking underage, sitting in the park weekends or during the week and drinking until I couldn't remember, and then going and doing stupid things. And that's what started to get me into trouble. Getting arrested for me wasn't anything new. It was being brought home by the police. Mum and my family were saying that we're used to. Mum just got used to it because it happened so often. I'd say 90% of the time when I got in trouble or brought home by the police, it was deserved. Probably 99% to be honest. Mum tried her best, single mum of 7, and living in the west of Sydney, living in Glebe in housing commission. There was three bedrooms and there's 7 kids. So that was the kind of household that we lived in, and a kind of parent that my mum was. She was very caring, very giving, and gave a lot of her time and gave up her bed. It stressed mum out big time. And so there was one particular time where I did something really stupid, really stupid. Again, under the influence of alcohol. I was 17 and a half at the time. Yeah, just thinking about it, what I did, like it's really embarrassing. Unfortunately, I did it, and I got caught for doing it. And I got arrested, kept in a cell for a couple of hours. Again, I was just sitting in that cell going, "Oh, whatever, I'm here again." It was nothing new. Hoping that mum would hurry up and come down to the station and bail me out for the 1,000th time. And yep, true to form, mum came down and I could hear her talking to the police officers and, "Oh, your son has done this and done that, blah, blah, blah." And it was different because normally mum would just cry and hug me and go, "Come here, son, it's okay." We walked home from Surrey Hills Police Station to Glebe, which was probably half hour, 45-minute walk. And for the whole way home, mum did not say a word, which was really strange. Anyway, we got home and mum walked straight into my bedroom, pulled out a couple of my footy bags and started packing my clothes into the bag, and picked up a bag and threw it off over the balcony and just said, "Get out. Stop mucking around, don't be gambling," I said to her. It wasn't a laughing matter. She just was sick of it. She turned around and said, "I'm sick of you putting me and this family through shit. Get out." And I walked down to the park, and I think I met up with one of my mates, and I was just hanging around the park for a couple of hours, and then I tried to go back home. Mum had actually put an AVO out on me. Essentially, I was homeless. I had nowhere to go. And for that night, I slept in a park, in Wentworth Park, under the tram tunnels, and I did the same thing for the next night. And I did the same thing for the next night. I did the same thing for about a week or so. And I did that for a long time. Getting food out of bins, which is, like, it's hard to talk about when you... Yeah, it was a tough time. And I remember this particular day because I was sitting down under the tunnel just feeling sorry for myself, thinking, what am I going to do? What do I do now? What happens next? I had two options. I had the option here, which was probably not a good option, or I had the second option, which was stop feeling sorry for myself, get up and start making that change that I want to see in myself. And it was really that simple. If I wanted to change, if I wanted something better, nobody else could do it for me. My mum couldn't do it for me, police couldn't do it for me, teachers, nobody could do it for me. It was myself. If I'm serious, there's probably one thing that I know that will help me, and that's probably getting an education. And so I went back to my old school. I booked in a meeting to speak to my principal, and she shut the door behind me, sat down, and the first thing she said, she goes, "What are you doing here?" Something really weird happened. This watery substance started coming out of my eyes again, and I broke down, got really emotional, and I told my principal my story. If she said no that day, I don't know what would have happened. I don't know what I would have went and done. I had two options. I'd probably be dead or in jail. Simple as that. As soon as she said yes, just a switch inside the old brain just went bang. I made sure that I went to school every single day. I turned up to every single class. I studied my backside off. I think I topped my class in modern history, English and PE. Even though I was 20 and finishing school, which at the time was a little bit embarrassing. By that stage, I'd gone through so much. So I didn't really care. I just knew that this was the right thing for me to do at that time. And 100% it was.